Mr. Speaker, thank you. 4 years ago, I stood on this same floor and condemned the online bullying of U.S. Marine Corps servicewomen on a public Facebook page. Today, I stand before you again, incredulous, angry, and sad to say that absolutely nothing has changed. This weekend, news broke that the Department of Defense is, quote, investigating scores of enlisted Marines for compiling thousands of naked photos of other Marines, servicewomen, often surreptitiously, and distributing them through Facebook's and Google Drive. The site in question is called, quote, Marines United, unquote, claiming a membership of over 30,000 people. The photos are held due to the ongoing investigation, but all indications are that they are just as repulsive as what we saw 4 years ago. The report contains samples of comments posted about female Marines, which are too obscene to read on the House floor. Online commentators also called for the rape of some of the Marines portrayed in the photos. Terrifying. Giving many of the women are identified by name and base. This is not about sex or fun or boys will be boys. This is about the Marines deliberately trying to degrade, humiliate, and threaten fellow Marines. They encouraged stalking, distributed stolen intimate photos, and reduced their comrades to a collection of body parts. Well, I'm here to say that women Marines will not be treated like sides of beef. They are warriors and should be treated as such. As one female Marine who recently completed the once male-only infantry training said, quote, right now I'm supposed to be able to trust every male Marine. And with some of the stuff I see them saying about women, that's just not happening, unquote. This cultural rot, which has clearly regressed even further since 2013, harms our troops and our readiness. It's abundantly clear that this is not a few bad Marines. Rather, it's another example of a cultural rot. It is a blight that infects not just the ranks of the enlisted, but also the officer corps. Military leadership have utterly failed in their responsibility to protect their troops, punish those involved, and uphold the professed values of the Corps. That is why the survivors of this latest atrocity did not have the confidence to notify their superiors for fear of retribution. It took a Marine veteran and blogger to blow the whistle, and for that, he has been threatened with death, and his wife has been threatened with rape. Back in 2013, then Commandant General Amos wrote to me saying, quote, we share your indignation, unquote, regarding deplorable images on social media that denigrate women in the United States Marine Corps. They were words, just words. I fear that military leadership will say anything to placate Congress and an outraged public, but then do nothing. I recently had the opportunity to meet with Secretary of Defense, Mr. James Mattis. I found him to be engaging, thoughtful, and committed to our troops. Secretary Mattis is also a retired Marine. Secretary Mattis, I hope that you are deeply disturbed by what we are seeing within the Corps. I hope that you are listening to servicewomen like the one whose private photos were posted in 2013 Facebook group. One left the service in 2015 and says that she, knowing her pictures are still out there, has silenced her. She said, quote, I want to be a positive influence on the community, and this diminished me. It took away everything, unquote. Secretary Mattis, this must change now. I call on you to hold your leadership accountable for these failures, to establish a culture of dramatic change, and that means heads should roll. Talk is cheap. Action is what is needed for the integrity of the military. Survivors must be supported, and that will only happen if those bad Marines are drummed out of the Corps, with no exceptions.